This video is about how to make a shiny new floor. You know when you have a shiny new toy? Well, now we're gonna have a shiny new floor. All right, so the first step is actually to move all the desks to the wall. So they all have to be against the wall. To do that, I'm actually gonna take a chair out. First, I move the chairs out of the way, and then I move the desk all the way to the side. Same thing. Here, there's a chair, move it out, and then move the desk all the way to the side. So as you see, the desks are touching the wall. The one thing you don't want to do is stack the desks like this. So some of your other classmates are going to be cleaning the furniture as you're cleaning the floor. So if you do that, they won't be able to get to that other desk. So you need to have all of the desks against the wall. Perfect. So now that you can see the desk, and not just the desk, but also the chairs are all against the wall, we have this huge space. And now it's really easy to clean the floors because we got this huge wide open space. Now the first step is actually to sweep because you want to get all the loose stuff off the ground. So half of your group should have brooms and the other half should have dustpans. Now don't worry, you'll get to switch halfway through. So don't worry about one person getting one thing and another person getting another. So what you'll do is one person will start sweeping while you pick a partner who will collect all of the stuff you're sweeping and you'll put it right into their dustpan, and then halfway through you'll switch so you each get a turn. So your teacher is going to have a spot in the classroom where you keep all your supplies. And what you're going to do is come over and take one of each bucket. There will be one set of buckets that have supplies in there and one set that are empty. You'll grab one of each. Okay? Now the one with supplies is just going to have a bunch of rags that you can take out and a thing of soap. All right? So you're going to take all that out. So now you do have two empty buckets. Now the way we remember this is we have two different buckets, and the reason why is because one contains soapy water and one contains just plain water. How do we remember? It's because the smallest bucket is the one with soapy water. Which one has soapy water? Yes, the smallest bucket. The smallest bucket has soapy water because all we need to do is dip into that. We don't need a big bucket for that. Now the bigger bucket is the one with just plain water because that we're going to use more for rinsing. So we'll need a little bigger bucket for that. Okay? So what we're going to do is fill both buckets up with water halfway. Just fill it halfway. We don't want things overflowing and flooding the school. All right? Halfway. Now if you don't have a sink in your classroom, you can go to the bathroom for this. But in this case, I do have a sink in here. I will fill them halfway. So now both buckets are filled up halfway. Now I'm gonna add soap just to the one bucket. And of course, the smallest bucket is the one we add soap to. I'm gonna pour it for 2 seconds. How many seconds? Yes, 2. Here we go, ready? Count with me. 1, 2, and that's it. We're not gonna pour any more, just 2 seconds. All right, I'll let that sit for a second and then we're ready to start. What I'll do is I'll grab my rag and I'll dip it in that bucket with soap. Then I will squeeze all of the extra water out. We don't want a really crazy amount of water on the floor. We want this thing just to be wet, but not have excess water in it. So I squeeze it all out over the soap. So now I have a soapy rag, but it's not dripping wet. Now I'm ready to go to the floor. So now that I have my soapy rag, I'm ready to start. And I'm gonna go all the way to the side of the classroom, to the edge. And I'll start here and kind of have a lane that I'll clean. And a friend will stand right next to me and they'll have the lane right next to me. Now there might not be lines on the floor, but you can just kind of follow right next to the person beside you. And then another friend will be right beside them, and so on, and we'll all clean. So here I go. I'm gonna take my rag, I'm gonna spread it all the way out. And I can put my hands on it, and I go down to the floor like this. Now, once I'm here, I just walk across the floor. I do not run, I walk across the floor. I only touch my feet on the floor, and the hands will be touching the rag, so they shouldn't even be touching the floor. So the only thing actually touching the floor is my feet. Ready? Notice I'm just walking, I'm not running. Once I get to the end, it shouldn't be long until everybody else finishes too, because we're all walking and it's not a race. Once that happens, we'll shift down to the next spot that has not been cleaned yet, and then we'll go back. We'll go back across the classroom the same exact way we just did. Then once we're done there, we'll go back again, and we'll keep doing that across the classroom until the whole classroom's clean. If you ever find as you go across the floor that your rag starts getting pretty dirty, you might want to come to the buckets. And if you do that, you want to wash the dirt off first in the plain water. You wash all that dirt off, get all that dirt out of there, because you don't want that in the soap. And once you do that, then you can come over to the soapy water and get some more soapy water on your rag. Again, make sure you squeeze it out. You don't want this dripping. And then you're ready to go back across the floor to do some more cleaning. When you're done, here's how you clean up. You're gonna take your dirty rag and you're gonna put it first into the clean water. The plain water, you're gonna put it in there and just make sure you get all the excess dirt off. Okay, all the dirt's off. I put it in the plain water, now step 2. Put it back in the soapy water one last time. Then again, I'm gonna squeeze all the water out, and this time give it the hardest squeeze to make sure it's all out, because we need this rag to dry. Okay? It's all squeezed out. The reason you put it in the soapy water one last time is just to get a little soap on it so that as it dries, it stays nice and clean. Now, put that rag to the side. It's finally time to dump out your buckets. Okay? Dump it out slowly to make sure the water doesn't go all over the place. If possible, take a little bit of water and rinse out the bucket so that it's nice and clean. And do that for both buckets. And then you're ready to dry your rags. How we do that is we actually take all of the rags and we put them on the side of the bucket so they have a place to dry. So I'll take all of mine and put it on the side. They all have a perfect spot to dry. Now I put it back where my teacher has told me that all my cleaning supplies go. When you're finished, make sure you help the other groups put all the classroom furniture back. So all the desks go back and all the chairs go back. Make sure to help out your whole class until it looks perfect.